address or stress is, why go through all of this? What's the big deal about leadership? And why should we do things differently than we've always done it?
Oh, well, I'm glad you asked that question, because in over 2 decades of taking leadership seriously, one of the things I have come to realize is that every system has certain centers of gravity or leverage points. It doesn't matter what system it is. And there usually are 5 rings of leadership, processes, infrastructure, population, which is usually the team, the staff, and so on, and then the agents of the action units. Now, we find that when you want to impact any system, when you want to bring energy to change any system in any direction that you choose, the most important leverage point is leadership. And leadership, therefore, comprises of those elements of a system that consciously try to move it in a particular direction. That makes it apologetically the most important thing we need, not just in business, but in the world today. And so for me, the whole thing is, how do we get the best out of leadership? How do we really measure its impact on the system? And how can we as individuals become very much better at executing the leadership function?
Thank you very much, sir. Great. So
No.
I was asking the question that the traditional modes of doing leadership development, send somebody on a course, it needs to learn emotional intelligence. How has that fared? And what are the ingredients of the non-traditional modes and how well they are working already in terms of what research is telling us, in terms of what experience is telling us about how adults learn and improve themselves?
Well, the literature on leadership has undergone more change in the last 5 years than in the century before that. And this is mostly because the world itself, politics, technology, social norms, judicial frameworks, and the formation of professional tribes has necessitated a broad review of what we loosely call leadership. Growing litigation now separates personal responsibility from professional liability. And these have eroded the protection that individuals who have the title of leader have. And that has necessitated a new paradigm in leadership development. In seeking to simplify leadership, it has also been demystified. For example, never have a bunch of leaders been so irrelevant as we have seen from expert opinion concerning COVID-19. We are approaching an era where, while we insist that anyone at any level can be a leader, there's also the need for everyone to clarify if and why they really want to lead. So while the insights of renowned leaders like leadership authors like late Warren Bemis still remain relevant. He says the first job of a leader is to define reality. The last is to say thank you. And in between, the leader is a servant. Now that still matters. But we find more and more that insights from people like Jim Rohn, who insists that you have to become a leader before you can accept to be a leader, is gaining even more prominence. Now, it is no longer enough to point the way, to be charismatic, or to impose your authority based on your title. More and more leaders must embody the vision and walk the talk. In other words, competence, character, and charisma are now equal parts in the equation. That means non-traditional leadership training, which focuses on developing the leader's character and personality, is now more important than ever. If you seek to be a leader, you need a mentor. You need to be personally disciplined. You have to understand the basics like focus, prioritization, time management. You can no longer fake it until you make it. You need to be a leader through and through before you can take a leadership position. And that's where non-traditional training and leadership is becoming important. This is why the platform we're talking about is critical. So you can assess your weaknesses, know where the weak link is because of its impact on character, on your reputation management. And by doing that, by having this personalized training that's sculpted for who you are and what you need to do, you would begin to get the real benefits out of leadership. And that's why I think non-traditional approaches become even more relevant.
Wow. Wow, that's so much to absorb in one go. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, sir. And I'm picking up on where you landed. Character, competence, capability, and dealing with those required not just sitting in a classroom. It's got to be lived. Like somebody said, leadership is a contact sport. So thank you very much, sir.